Hey everybody, welcome to another HeroPress tip of the week. This week I'm going to introduce you to SSH. And you may be asking, what is SSH? Well, it's a secure way to connect to a remote server on the command line. And then you may be asking, why would I ever want to do that? And the answers are many, and there are quite a few answers. For one thing, there's an excellent WordPress command line interface that allows you to do some very powerful things in ways that you can't do them via the web. Additionally, it gives you access to all the files on your site in real time. So if you have a plugin that's breaking your site, you can SSH in and simply delete it or move it or anything you need. SSH can be used on both live servers and staging servers. I don't usually recommend doing it on a live server. That's typically called cowboy coding and not recommended. However, it has bailed me out a few times. This video isn't going to show you how to do much with SSH once you're connected. That's going to be in future videos. But this one's going to just show you how to get it set up. Now, I created a site called meetwithtopher.com, and most hosts will allow you to SSH using your FTP username and domain name. So I'm going to do it right here. You type SSH. And my username is meetwithtopher, and then you use an @ and the host name, meetwithtopher.com, and hit enter. Now, the very first time you connect, the server says, hey, nope, your machine says, hey, I've never connected here before. I don't know this server. Is this real? And assuming that you set this up, you can say yes. And then you can see it permanently added it to a list of known hosts. So it won't ask you that question again in the future. And then you simply put in your password. And there we are. We are logged into a server at DreamHost. In this case, the server's name is Auburn, which doesn't really matter. If you type ls to get a file listing, you can see that there's a mail directory, some log files, and the folder with my site in it. If I cd in there, you can see there's WordPress. And there you can see the plugins that I have installed. So now that I've shown you how to connect, I'm going to show you how to make sure that it's even available on your host. Most hosts provide it. Some do not. I'm using DreamHost for this particular site, so I'm going to show you how to check on DreamHost and enable it. So I'm going to go into Websites, Manage Websites. I'm going to search by domain name. And there's mine. So I click Manage right here. And you'll see that I manage my files via SSH. Now, that's not the default, so yours probably says FTP. But you can click Show Login Info right here. And then Edit User Settings. Now, the user for that is down here, Meet with Topher. So now show info on that user. And right here, it says that the connection type is SSH. And there's Edit Access Settings. So yours probably says FTP here. You edit your access settings, and there's a drop down here. And you can choose if you just want SFTP or SSH, which actually gives you both. So you can still use your FTP client as long as you have SFTP turned on. And then save changes once you've selected SSH. And that's all there is to turn it on. Now, SiteGround has it on automatically. And here's the tutorial in their docs. GoDaddy, you have to turn it on, but it's just as easy as it was in DreamHost. You can follow the instructions here. WP Engine has docs on how to do it. It's super easy. One more thing before I go, I want to point out that I'm using Terminal here on Mac OS. Linux obviously comes with it built in, but if you're using Windows, I recommend an application called Putty. It's free, it's open source, it works great. It gets you a terminal just like the one that you saw in my window. So those are your options. So to summarize, you can connect to your host with SSH. Here, I'll even show you. I'm going to quit. Remember I showed you it asked me that question once? There, now it just asks for the password. And I'm back in, just that fast. So it allows you to connect to a remote server and do things on that server. The real value for WordPress is the WP CLI, which we'll talk about it in another video. So practice getting connected, and then in the future, I will show you how to do some really cool stuff in here. I hope you find this useful.